What's up, guys? Csaba here from Game of Conversions, and we're back with another proven sales letter breakdown video. This is the 71st edition, and today we're going to take a look at a cool promotion from Kim Krause Schwalm, an A-list copywriter. And this was written for Boardroom. So if you're new to the channel, just know that Boardroom is this big direct response company who created a lot of breakthrough success promotions all throughout the ages. And I've broken down several of their videos before. Definitely check them out. I'm going to leave a link below this video in the playlist section where you can check out the entire Proven Sales Letter Breakdown video library. So you might want to check it out if you're new here or if you're not really that familiar with Boardroom. But I've chosen this one because, first of all, I haven't featured Kim Krause Schwalm yet. And she's an amazing copywriter. And secondly, we already had similar themes from other copywriters, other Boardroom copywriters actually, than this one. And I just wanted to check out whether, Kim's style, it's obviously different a little bit than other copywriters, but it's like what's the difference, what's common between others' style and Kim's style, and what we can learn from this great promotion. Okay, so again, if you're not familiar with Megalogues, just note that a Megalogue is basically a magazine and a little salesy type of messaging combined together. Okay, so it's kind of a magazine that went out to people in mail, in a physical copy, and then basically it was mostly content, but it used world-class copywriting to also sell stuff. Okay, and usually it sold newsletter subscriptions by first hyping up a few free bonuses, also called premiums or special reports, and then once people build some desire for that, then the Megalogue pitches the newsletter subscription itself. So this one uses the same formula, and we've seen how this formula usually works. The copy is the most important part of it. Design obviously is also super important, but the messaging, the copy itself, the persuasive hook and headline and the big idea is the thing that was the most responsible for response. So for the success. And as we can see, this one's like 16 pages, 15. So it's not the longest, but it's not the shortest either. So let's see what's happening here, okay? And what we can learn from this even in 2021, because the same principle, ideas of persuasion are still the same even to this day. Even 1,000 years ago, we haven't changed that much. Psychology is still the same. Even though this was written in 2006, I'm sure that as we go through this, hopefully even, you're going to get a lot of great ideas for your own promotions, for your own copywriting projects, for your own funnels even. Because these hooks, these headlines, these bullets and fascinations, they're amazing. So if you're enjoying these types of videos and you'd like me to continue doing these, then please hit the like button right now, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new, because I'm releasing these videos daily and that way you don't miss out. But let's just jump into it. So this is the first page of the entire promotion, and basically it has an element that highlights the name of the subscription itself, Tax Hotline, with a little tagline which says, "Your inside report on every tax break the law allows." So we can immediately see that this is angled towards people. So the target audience for this are people who want to invest a little bit, they want to save their taxes, they want to put aside more money for their retirement, they want to optimize their finances. Okay, so they're most likely not so young anymore, they have more money on average. In most cases, they're more likely to be right-wing leaning, okay, so they're more conservative, and knowing this information is useful later on, because one of the great ways that copywriters actually persuade people is to validate their pre-existing beliefs and also debunk some of the myths that they're having, but to just basically build some rapport and likability with them by validating their pre-existing beliefs. So if they believe that there's a government conspiracy and the big banks, the big pharma, the Fed, the corrupt, crooked government, by using their own words, wants to screw them over, then that's what they will leave, and that's what you have to highlight in your copy as well. So as I skim through this, at first, it doesn't really seem that extremist at all. So this is more tamed, but I've seen promotions where it's all about like, hey, like for example, the 12 Smiling Swindlers promotion that I did, I think it was from Jim Rutz, and it's a great example of how basically everyone's trying to screw you over: your accountant, your doctor, your lawyer, your tax person, your everybody, okay, and how you can protect yourself. But we still have some similar messaging here. Because stuff like closely held IRS secrets they don't want you to know about. So this type of messaging, like they don't want you to know about, this is very common in these types of copy, because a lot of people in the target audience, they do believe that there's a lot of secrets that bureaucrats, for example, don't want the average person to know about, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to rip off these average Joes and average people. So that's one of the key selling propositions of these newsletters, is that the creator of this newsletter, Martin Edelston, the face of Boardroom, they were positioned, he was positioned as this very likable go-to guy who's there to protect the little guy from the big bureaucrats, for example, from big banks, and basically act like Prometheus, who brings down fire from the gods to common people, and he makes that connection and brings all the latest, greatest, best insider information about taxes, about health, about all these things. But in order for this to work, you really have to know your audience, and that's why great A-list copywriters are so they accomplish feats of incredible strength with these sales letters, because it takes so much research to really put together a promotion like this and to really know what to actually say to people so that they become interested. And then if you do that right, then this becomes the so-called control, which means that it's just going to keep mailing out until maybe someone else's package is going to beat it. But finally, let's see the headline, subhead, everything else here. Okay, so at the right, we have the main headline, which says, give yourself a tax cut and simplify your taxes right now. So it's a straightforward headline. Okay, it highlights the instant gratification of it. It's like, you can do this right now. You can simplify your life, because everybody hates doing their taxes. And you can give yourself a tax cut as well, because everyone hates to pay a lot of taxes. And then we have three little subheads. The first one says, urgent new tax law changes that can save you big bucks. So again, think about it for a second. Like, tax information, it's complicated. It's just like lawyer stuff. It changes all the time. Everybody knows that you would need a full-time job just to keep up with these things. So why not outsource the responsibility of tracking these things to a very inexpensive newsletter? And this is what this is accomplishing here. You can do this. You can simplify your life, and you can also save money. So you save money. Then we have closely held IRS secrets they don't want you to know about. We already covered this. And the third one, dozens of tax breaks and deductions you might be missing. So again, this highlights how you might know a lot of things, but you would have to be almost superhuman to keep track of every single thing, okay? And this just does it for you. And check this out. Like, I like this little illustration here with this man chopping away the tree that is taxes. It's very interesting. And then to the left of it, we have a bunch of fascinations. Again, if you're new to the channel, fascinations are basically little bullets that build desire, and they also tease something. So they build curiosity as well. And this 1-2 punch of desire and curiosity is very powerful, because the only way to actually get your answers to these little snippets is to buy the product, or in this case, to actually read more. So these first fascinations, they basically sell consumption of this Megalogue itself, because the more copy people consume, the more likely they are to buy something, and that's what you want as a copywriter. So A few great examples of these fascinations. Why pay a penny more than you have to? Avoid these common tax preparation mistakes and grab every legal deduction you can. ... Page 3 inside. So this teases, it's in page 3, so you can the only thing you have to do to get this information is to flip to page 3. But see how we have the benefits section. Why pay a penny more than you have to? So again, you can save money. That's the benefit. And then the curiosity aspect is that avoid these common tax preparation mistakes. But what are these mistakes? Well, you gotta flip to that page in order to find out. Another one, hands off IRS. 21 types of income you don't have to pay federal taxes on. Page 6 inside. So again, people, they don't like the IRS. Most people don't like it, but people in this target audience definitely don't like it. So if you say hands off IRS, it immediately builds a little bit of likability with your brand, and it connects with people emotionally. They're going to be more likely to trust you immediately. And 21 types of income you don't have to pay federal taxes on. Wow, I want to know that if I'm in the target audience, because I can save a lot of money. I like this one. Oops, you didn't mean to disinherit your grandchildren, but you just might if your will doesn't say this. Page 2 inside. It's funny because I've broken down the Encyclopedia of Estate Planning from David Deutsch. Again, link to that video in the description section. You can check out the entire content library. But David Deutsch used a bullet, the fascination, very, very similar to this, on how you can how to accidentally disinherit your children. It's very interesting, and I'm sure that there's some influences here between Kim and David on this one. So another one, how to fight back against the IRS and win. Declare sweet revenge and collect up to $100,000 in damages and fees. Page 5 inside. So how to win, how to fight back against the IRS and win. So who wouldn't want that, right? And then look at this. We have little nice illustrations here. 9 steps to protect your home-based business from the IRS. Plus 1 risky pitfall to avoid. Page 10 inside. So this is aimed at more business people, so people who have businesses. The other one, they cover various types of life situations, because the more entry points you have, and certain Megalogues even used specific tables of content. And I think it was Clayton Makepeace who said that by including these little tables of content, you have multiple entry points to the persuasive argument, because you don't know what one thing is going to connect the most with the reader. Is it going to be like hands off IRS? Is it going to be the disinherit your children or grandchildren? Is it going to be that they're, I don't know, they have this resentment towards the IRS and then they want to fight back? Or is it going to be like they have a business and they want to optimize that? We don't know, but this way we have various entry points. The same thing with this one, how to keep the IRS from looting your nest egg. Watch out. So a fear-based thing. This is for people who already have a bigger investment portfolio. They have their retirement figured out, but now they want to protect it. And it's a slightly different type of audience than people who just want to save money, or they want to I don't know, make more money or something like that. So let's just read the first few paragraphs as well, because this is the lead of the sales letter, and it's very important to have a great lead, otherwise you're gonna just lose people, because they're not gonna care. And the whole point of the lead is, again, to build emotional desire for the thing, build some curiosity as well, and to tease like what's up, what they're going to get basically if they read this piece of advertisement. Because if you just straight up give them the product, they're not gonna care. But if you make a trailer, for your movie, and then your movie is actually really good and has a lot of content, and then towards the end of the movie you have some product pitch, it's going to be much less of a problem to sell. So let's see how Kim did it here. If you're confused by ever-changing tax laws, mind-boggling forms, and obscure rules no one seems to be able to explain to you, it's no wonder. So immediately we paint the picture of a problem and we establish it's not your fault narrative. So in copywriting, it's very important to make the reader feel like it's not their fault. Whatever they did, it's not their fault. You have to blame the government for it, the big pharma companies, big banks, some type of scapegoat, okay? You always have to establish a common enemy or a common problem. So then we continue. The US tax system is caught in an endless spiral of nonstop change and growth. In 2005 alone, there were 51 changes regarding tax credits, deductions, retirement accounts, estate taxes, and more. And there are 62 changes on the books already for 2006. So this just agitates the problem a little bit. So we already have like the problem, agitation, and eventually solution framework. But before the solution, we give them a little bit of benefits. We tease some benefits. So it goes like this. Any one of them could slash your taxes and give you the tax relief you've been looking for. For example, and then we have 3 little fascinations. Like more expanded, but I think they're still fascinations. So, for example, if you live in a no or low income tax state or make a big ticket purchase, you can now save a ton of money by choosing to deduct sales instead of state income tax. A big tax loophole lets you convert your traditional IRA into a tax-free Roth IRA, even if your adjusted gross income exceeds $100,000. If you own a business, you can pile up even more tax savings in 2006 with the new Roth 401k, no matter how much you earn now. So actually, these aren't only just fascinations because they also give away the steak, not just the sizzle. There's this little saying that steak versus sizzle. Steak is more content, sizzle is more curiosity or something like that. And these could be great fascinations, and it would be very easy to actually transform these into fascinations, but they actually give away some helpful tips. So I think the reason behind these is to just give people immediately something useful, valuable, because then they will feel like, whoa, it is worth it to read this magazine. They don't think it's a sales letter. They obviously think that it's a magazine. And they start feeling like, yes, it is worth it to read this letter because I'm going to get a lot of benefits from it. And that's what you want, instead of just trying to bash them over the head with a sales pitch. So then we continue. Tilt the latest tax favor laws in your favor. So this is the unique promise. Again, think about Gary Bencivenga's Bencivenga persuasion equation, which states that if you want to persuade someone to do anything, then you need to identify an urgent problem. Well, we have the urgent problem here. You need to give them a unique promise, and I think this is a pretty unique promise. Then you got to give them unquestionable proof, and that's going to be the content section of this Megalogue, and later on a bunch of testimonials and case studies as well. Like these, for example, a lot of proof elements, but even before that we have proof elements by having all sorts of content pieces. And then finally, in the persuasion equation, you have to give them a user-friendly proposition. And then the last part of this sales letter is actually a user-friendly proposition, which basically means that it's an irresistible offer, okay? Because you're getting such an overwhelmingly good deal that it's almost impossible to resist if you're in the correct target audience and you've read the sales letter, okay? So it's very important to keep this in mind. So this little subhead here is the unique promise. So let's continue. Let's see what happens. So tilt the tax laws in your favor. There are dozens more new tax breaks, write-offs, and loopholes buried within the staggeringly complex US tax code. Are you up to date on all of them? It's a great question, right? It's a philosophical question in a sense, because most people are going to say, oh no, of course I'm not. I mean, it's so complicated. So that makes it even more likely for them to read this. If not, you could end up shelling out more of your hard-earned money to the IRS than you have to. So again, hard-earned money. At this point, people already feel like, yeah, the IRS is just ripping me off. I have to pay so much money to the IRS as taxes, and it's my hard-earned money. It's not fair. And you're just validating their pre-existing beliefs. You're building rapport with them. So then we continue. It doesn't have to be that way. And this is the solution, problem, agitation, solution. So it says it doesn't have to be that way. Now there's a place you can turn to get the most urgent tax news and inside information you need to cut your taxes to the bone and always steal the latest tax laws in your favor. We've pulled together 35 of the most IRS savvy people in the world, tax attorneys, accountants, financial planners, even an ex-IRS agent, to publish America's most valuable research for taxpayers and tax professionals alike. So this part already acts a little bit like proof. It gives credibility to the whole thing, and it also gives this whole thing a mission statement. It's like, our mission here is to get all the best people, just like I said, what Martin Edelstein did. He pulled together all the major players from various areas of life, and he like distilled all their knowledge into an easy to consume package that basically anyone can benefit from. So that's what's happening here as well. And then we get a little introduction to the product itself. So Kim says it's called Tax Hotline and is designed to give you the upper hand against the IRS. Each monthly issue reveals new tax breaks, hidden loopholes, and big savings you can snap up right away, and warns you about costly tax traps to avoid. So already we see a few benefits. New tax breaks, everybody wants that. Loopholes, everybody's looking for loopholes, while avoiding all the biggest mistakes, because people are afraid of taxes. It's complicated. They're afraid of messing things up and getting an audit from the IRS. That's one of the most scariest things. Actually, it's one of the scariest things that you can that most people at least can ever imagine, and they definitely want to avoid it. We have a little very, very high level overview of what's inside the product. So it says every article is written by the country's top tax experts, the kind most of us could never hire on our own. What's more, they work on the front lines every day, so they have access to the most up-to-date minute inside information. So again, think about it. This audience, they have other things in life to do, and notice it's not by accident that we have pictures like these, okay? These are our target audience, okay? This senior citizen guy here, this lady, her, maybe him, who's like a little bit younger, but still probably in his 40s or something, and a few kids. So they want to spend more time with their grandchildren, for example. And they don't have time to like geek out on tax-related stuff. That's boring. Nobody wants that. Instead, for just a few dollars per month, basically, they can outsource this responsibility to others. So at this point, even if we get like in a regular sales pitch from a regular copywriter, at this point, if we got a straight up pitch, it would already be pretty effective, let's say. But we still have a long way to go until the pitch. This is just the lead, by the way, and we are introduced to a special report that we can get for free as well. So wow, who wouldn't want that, right? So the copy goes like this. These experts have agreed to reveal their most profitable tax-saving secrets in a special report called Found Money, 100% legal loopholes to cash in now. And we also have like a hero shot of this special report. It also says free special report, see reply card for details. And I like the color scheme and the font choice as well. It's yellow with red and black. It's very easy to identify, and I'm sure that there's been a lot of research into the psychology of colors and how these colors actually affect persuasion, conversion rate optimization, human emotions and stuff like that. But I like the name choice as well. Found Money. So it assumes that you're gonna get free money. Everybody wants free money, right? So it's very interesting. The main headline of it as well, but then what comes after it is also very good, because it says 100% legal loopholes to cash in on now. So people, one of their biggest objections when it comes to tax tips is that, yeah, what if this is shady? What if, I don't want to do anything illegal, because then the IRS is going to punish me hard, and I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get any type of problem with the IRS, okay? So that's why, and I've seen this in other tax related boardroom promotions as well. The copywriters always spend a lot of time on highlighting how this is legal. Like, for example, I've broken down a letter from Paris Lampropoulos, another great so-called Mount Rushmore boardroom copywriter. And he also took the time to explain many times how all these things, they're legal. They're sexy, they promise a breakthrough and they promise a lot of free money quickly even, but it's always highlighted that it's legal. And here we also have it, legal loopholes, because people want loopholes, but at the same time they're afraid that loopholes are going to get them into trouble. So legal loophole is, again, a 1-2 punch combination. I like it. And then to cash in on now. So people don't want to wait a week, a month or something for their money, for the results. They want it now. People want instant gratification. So I think this is one of the best titles that you could ever give your free report, actually. So it's free. And then the copy continues, and with your permission, I'd like to send you a copy absolutely free. I'll tell you how you can get your free special report along with up to 4 more free gifts in a moment. This is the open loop. But first, let me share some of these very profitable secrets with you. The first one gives you an added benefit, relief from high healthcare costs. So this was the lead, I think, until this part. Maybe until this little subhead here, because from here on out, we start moving into very specific topics. So it seems like firstly, we're going to get into healthcare, then probably into estate planning, other tax optimization, and so on and so forth. And I like how this loop opens up. It's like, hey, it's so great. You're gonna get this super nice free report, and I'm gonna tell you in a minute how to get it. But first, just hear me out, because I want to give you even more value. So think about it from the reader's perspective, how extremely valuable this copy is. It's not aggressive. It's not trying to sell them something immediately. It's only trying to give them something. It's all about giving, which, as we know from Cialdini's book, reciprocity, it's going to trigger reciprocity eventually in people. But also, Gary Bencivenga said that nobody reads an ad in itself. Like, people read stuff that's interesting to them, and sometimes that's an ad. So if you can make your advertisement itself valuable, if you can reward people for reading your ad, for reading your Megalogue in this case, then they are going to read it much more often and much more deeply, and then they are actually going to get indoctrinated into your world. And when it comes to pitching the product, it's already almost a done deal, because you have the emotional groundwork laid down. Okay, then you just have to rationalize the thing with a few other copy aspects, have a strong close, have a lot of desire building fascinations and bullets, and obviously have a good offer. But this is the thing that draws people in, that does the heavy lifting. And that's why if you change the lead, for example, on a promotion like this, sometimes these A-list copywriters, when they get tasked to beat a control, which means to come up with something better than this one, actually that converts even higher, then oftentimes the first thing that they do is they rewrite the lead. They just come up with a new headline, new subheads, and the new first few hundred words of the promotion itself. That's it, because just like the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, most people are going to fall off at the lead. So maybe 20% of people are going to read past this lead part. But if they do read past it, they're very likely to actually read significantly more. So the biggest leverage in the performance of your promotion is the headline part and the lead part itself, because this is where people are actually still here. So from here on out, we have a lot of content, so I'm not going to cover it in so much detail anymore, but let's just go through it structurally, okay? So we had this first page here, and we can spend 5 hours, 10 hours easily breaking down this promotion in more detail, because it's really good, and it probably went through maybe a dozen round of edits. So just think about it. Like, if an A-list copywriter comes out with something like this, they don't just come up with it just like that. They have a first draft as well, and that gets rewritten many times. Then it gets sent to the legal department. They're going to reject it a few times because like maybe it's promising too much, maybe it doesn't have enough proof, something like that. And then a few back and forths, and then it's ready. In optimistic cases. So don't worry if everything in here seems unreachable or unreal to you. Even the best copywriters in the world struggle with this, and they still spend a lot of time creating and polishing it. So there's a saying in copywriting that says, you know, all the magic happens in the editing, not during the first draft. And so many people are afraid of their first drafts when it's just one part of the puzzle, one part of the, I don't know, the 10 parts system of coming up with winning copy. It's just like the second or third stage. Okay, so from this point onwards, we have a section which deals with health-related stuff, so drugs and how the IRS can actually pay for your drugs. And again, remember the target audience here, probably senior citizens, probably people who are in their 50s, 60s. They might have some health problems already. Maybe they're even older, and health, just like wealth, is a central problem for them. So it's very intriguing, this type of copy for them. So another interesting thing that happens, and it's going to happen, and it's a staple part of a Megalogue, is all these little inserts, let's just say, of various things. And I think, again, it was Clayton Makepeace who said that, or maybe it was Paris Lampropoulos, I don't remember, but like, whenever you start out writing something like this, the first thing you do as a copywriter is that you consume the product itself. You read this special report, you read a few issues of the newsletter itself, you get familiar with the product itself, just like you're getting familiar with the audience. And while you're going through the product, you're actually writing out a lot of bullets and fascinations about interesting things in the product, right? And you might end up with 100 different fascinations, and then only 20 of them, let's say, will end up in the final version. In the case of Megalogues, most copywriters probably end up with like 500 fascinations, and then the last 60 are going to end up in the promotion. I know that people like Paris Lampropoulos definitely do that. So the best copywriters definitely do that, because you need some time to get in the zone of creating winning fascinations. And the best fascinations, actually, the absolute best, they usually get on the front here. So these are probably most likely the best fascinations. And then the second best, they get expanded into their own little mini elements here, okay? So this one, the 4 biggest text preparation mistakes to avoid. This probably started out as a fascination at one point, and eventually, you know, as more and more research was done, you know, around this fascination, probably Kim thought that, hey, why don't I expand this into its own little mini content piece? Because it's very useful, right? And it also does the belief shifting that's necessary for conversion. Because, and this is more of an advanced copywriting thing, but people don't really want your product. They don't buy your product. They buy a transformation. So you have to help them. Your product has to be the conduit that helps them get from their current imperfect situation to their future ideal situation. Okay? And you have to be the straight line, or like, let's just say, a line between those two states. But the problem is there's a lot of roadblocks along the way, and most of those roadblocks are there because they had past failure with these things. They have incorrect assumptions, false beliefs, false myths when it comes to these products, maybe their own ability to actually get this. Maybe some people feel like, I am too old for this. I couldn't really do this anymore. Or, you know, I'm not rich enough to actually bother optimizing my taxes. Or the other one is like, yeah, but I'm extremely afraid that I don't want to do anything illegal at all. Okay, you have to bust those myths, and you have to show what are the mistakes that they're doing and how come their life is imperfect, because it's not their fault, it's the fault of some other third-party entity, but you have to highlight these things, because then, they will start noticing, they will start feeling the pain, and they will feel like, wow, okay, I never thought about that, but it makes sense. So that's what's happening here, probably. Then we have another, and each of these little parts here delineated with these subheads, they introduce a new type of content. So the first one was health. This one, your home is your castle and your biggest tax break ever. So like basically how to save money on your taxes through your home. This little insert, it's really interesting. I like it. It says taxpayer penalizes IRS for lateness, because this shifts the script a little bit, right? Or flips the scripts rather, because in most cases people imagine the IRS penalizing them for being late on some type of payment. So that's why they are afraid of the IRS. But this one actually opens up a very interesting possibility. It opens up the belief shifting opportunity so that people actually start believing that, wow, I have power over the IRS. I can penalize the IRS. Wow. And that's really empowering, right? And it's motivating. And this might be the thing that actually knocks people off the fence and makes them, a paying customer of this. There's also, did you know? The IRS also has deadlines he needs to stick to. It's true. In fact, the IRS must send you your refund within 45 days of the date your return was due or of the date you filed. If not, they owe interest to you. So this is an empowering type of thing that most people don't even know about, and now they do, and now they're grateful for this Megalogue, because on their own they would have never discovered this maybe. And notice how at this point to the left we still have things talking about this free report, and we have a lot of fascinations here. So as I said in the beginning, most copywriters might end up with a list of 60, 70 great fascinations, maybe even more, and then a few of them get put here, a few which are related to various life situations. So the first one says easy way to pay zero tax on up to $3,000 of income every year, perfectly legal and audit proof. Again, this is the objection handling here, perfectly legal and audit proof. Easy way. People want easy and quick to pay zero tax. So not a single one. That's a strong benefit there of up to $3,000. This is specifics. So it means that, it is credible. And then every year that adds consistency to it. It's like, wow, if I can save $3,000 this year, in 10 years I'm saving $30,000. Wow, that's something interesting. So that's why these things are powerful. You never know which fascination is going to actually knock people off the fence. So we have more desire building copy here. Collect up to $100,000 in damages and fees when the IRS behaves badly. Again, a major friction point for people. Something like this is definitely a good idea to implement in the promotion, because most people, they probably have been wronged by the IRS before, and now they have a way to strike back. And the little guy, they want to strike back in most cases to the big, almost demigod type of organization like the IRS is. Secrets to a richer retirement. Here we get introduced to another type of special report which has to do with richer retirement. So people want that. So there are a few things going on at the same time. We have these inserts which just break things up a bit, so it's fine. We have some quotes as well. The hardest thing to understand is the income tax by Albert Einstein. This is also kind of a proof element in itself. Then we get introduced to the second, special report that people get if they or when they subscribe. Free special report, see reply card for details. Beat the IRS at its own game. So, wow, now you can be the smart person who is going to beat this behemoth of an IRS at its own game. Wow. Some other quotes. Hands off IRS income you don't have to pay federal taxes on. This was teased in the beginning a little bit here. So notice how, this fascination actually sold the consumption of page 6. And on page 6, if people get there, because remember there are various entry points here, now we have more fascinations that have to do with this general topic here. And the cool thing about it is that we also get a little introduction, little details about the product itself, because check this little paragraph out here. It says, this is the kind of inside information you'll read about in your free copy of Beat the IRS at Its Own Game and each monthly issue of Tax Hotline. Return the reply card between pages 14 and 15 of this special issue to get started today. But there's more. It's not enough to take advantage of every tax loophole you can and keep the IRS off your back. So from here on out, and even at this point, the promotion itself is hyping up the value of these special reports with a lot of with some introduction sections, a lot of fascinations, and then some mini call to actions, right? So then we see another special report, retirement planning. Again, another big topic for people in the target audience. Overlook retirement plan offers big savings, 100,000 plus per year. Wow. Who wouldn't want that if they're interesting? And you know, I love this picture because it just shows you in a dimensionalized way that ultimately people don't want more money. They don't want more. Don't want to make more or lose more or something like that. They want dimensionalize things in their lives. They want to spend more time with their grandkids. They want to spend more time golfing. They just want to feel like, you know, they don't have this burden of financial woes on them, okay? They want to be able to wake up in the morning whenever they want to. They want freedom, all sorts of freedom. And money is just a way to actually achieve those things. So if you want to sell something that helps them save more money or make more money, it's a great idea to highlight how their life is going to be different in a dimensionalized way. That's also the reason why you see all these Lamborghini gurus on Facebook and on YouTube and many other places who are selling how to start a profitable e-commerce brand from scratch and become a millionaire overnight. So some scammy type of product like that, and they advertise it with Lamborghinis. There are always these 19-year-old guys who look cool and they drive Lamborghinis, which are rented, by the way, in 99% of cases, but to just sell the dream of people. Because, again, for their target audience, which is young, entrepreneurial, spirited guys in most cases, so they're probably beginners, and they don't know what real entrepreneurship is about, which is boring work in front of your desk. But they're selling the dream. They're selling the end thing, because even those younger audience, they don't want money. They want power. They want respect. They want autonomy. They want to be able to get more girls, to show off. That's what they want. And that's why they use Lamborghinis. And that's why these promotions here use pictures like, going on, I don't even know how you call this, but going on a little boat with your granddaughter or your daughter. This is what you want. So now in the middle of it, we have a little hero shot of what's included here. You get, and notice how dimensionalized this also is. It's like it's 3D. You have these 3 special reports. It's yours, zero for free with zero risk. And here's what you get with each month of Tax Hotline. You save a lot of money, a bunch of benefits here. Here, look at how valuable they look. They come in various colors. So it just seems like an over delivery, and that's what you want here. So from here on out, I'm gonna speed things up a bit because we're at 43 minutes again, but there's so many things to cover here, and it's a shame we can't really spend more time on it. So at this point, we have a proof element. It's not testimonials yet, but it's like, hey, look at all these experts who put together all these amazing benefits for you. And, they have all these impressive titles and they also have pictures about them. They all look like very, very knowledgeable people in finance. 9 steps to protect your home-based business from the IRS. Again, this is for business related people. So notice how this fascination, again, on the first page actually sells the consumption of page 10. Actually, where is it? Yes, and here it is. And at the end, you know, as people consume more of this, they're much more likely to also read this. They're also much more likely to read this. And then maybe they're also interested in like protecting their nest egg. So now they're going to read this, and they get deeper and deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole until they become customers. So that's the magic of these types of copywriting solutions. And they get even more special reports with this. So then we have some benefit driven language again. The offer is probably introduced more and more here, but at the same time we also start seeing more proof elements, because remember Gary Bencivenga's equation, you have to always back up your promises with proof, otherwise it doesn't work. There has to be a balance. So we start seeing testimonials as well, and I like how Kim didn't just use testimonials or this is things that our customers said, but instead she said it pays to read Tax Hotline. So actually you get paid just to read this. So even though you have to buy it technically, you still get paid even more, preferably to do it. So we have testimonials, we have even more testimonials. Just notice the proof, the promise proof dichotomy here, right? To the left, we have promise, so you can collect double paydays, increase your spouse's social security, protect your retirement, all these good stuff. And at the right, you have a lot of proof elements, testimonials to back it up. And then you also get a special little gift, because marketing tests have shown that if you have a digital product or like a print-based product, if you give them something physical, like something simple like a calculator, inside their minds, people will feel like, wow, this is even more valuable. And at the same time, if you give some people something physical, like a calculator, then it's a great idea to add bonuses which are digital, because then, you know, you balance things out again. You attack them from multiple dimensions. And again, the combination of these two dimensions elevates the thing even higher. It's really powerful stuff. Turn your kid into a future millionaire without paying a penny in taxes. So one more entry point, one more final entry point for people who may be thinking, okay, I don't need this, but wow, my kid might need this, right? And then to the left, we have more information, more high-level overviews of what's inside the newsletter itself. And the final subhead says, save 33% of the regular rate with this totally risk-free offer. So what else do you need? We have price anchoring as well. It's like, hey, a quick 20-minute phone call would easily set you back $100. But now you can get a full year's worth of issues for $39, and you can have a full refund, and you get all these cool bonuses and special reports, and you can do it risk-free, and you also get the calculator, and you even get like a fast action bonus. So it says, if you respond within the next 10 days, I'll send you an extra free special report, everything you need to know about estate planning. So again, something related to estate planning, another very important topic for our target audience. And we have just one more page breaking down this last bonus, biggest mistakes in estate planning, yours free. So best way to pass on part of your estate tax-free. Again, another interesting thing here. So we don't have the order form in this specific swipe file. I got this from Brian Kurtz himself. Like he was the list guy for Boardroom for a long time, and he personally knows all these great copywriters. This was probably the envelope or something, but usually you also have an order form which has its own science nailed down at this point. Check out some of my previous videos because they almost always cover order forms as well when it comes to these Megalogues. So again, link in the description for the entire playlist. So yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was a great one. It was a pleasure reading it, and it's another great example of how great copywriting can actually convert a lot of people into customers and can start big multi-million, well, I wouldn't say multi-billion, but Agora, in a sense, it's above 1 billion. So it can start huge businesses, okay? So if you enjoyed this video, then definitely smash that like button right now if you enjoyed it. I would definitely appreciate it. Also subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below with your #1 takeaway, and also share this with your friends as well who might be interested, because I'm on a mission to create the best YouTube library of these proven sales letter breakdowns. So I really hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Thank you so much for Kim for creating this, and for Brian Kurtz for sending me this, and see you in the next one.